Hello and welcome to this Tuesday edition of All Elite Radio. We hope you had a great St. Patrick's Day. Our leading question this week is AEW pushing Megan Bayne too quickly? My co-host Ashlee here is ready to give her response, and I got a feeling she's going to differ from my position on this one.
We're gonna have a little bit of differing opinions here once in a while. Oh, let's get right into it. So Megan Bayne. I've seen a lot of I feel like mixed reactions to her. A bit surprised. I feel like she came in and she kind of wowed everybody with her first appearance. Um, I thought we were this seems to be like a similar trajectory with a lot of newcomers in AEW, kind of coming in, either working their way immediately to a title shot or immediately getting a title shot. So I kind of figured this was that same trajectory. I kind of figured this was the plan. So it is kind of surprising to see kind of a little bit of pushback.
Well, for me, I feel like she hasn't really had that many matches in All Elite Wrestling. We know she came from Stardom, spent a lot of time in Stardom. It's just, to me, it's too soon, too fast to boot her out to the AEW Women's World Title match. We just saw an amazing feud with Toni Storm versus Mariah May, and we were warning last week where we were going to go with Toni going forward. Now we know it's probably going to be Megan Bayne versus Toni Storm at AEW Dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they gave her a little more time to like round out her character and everything she's doing, give her a little more mic time. We haven't heard much from Megan Bayne as far as her motivations. Obviously she's the powerhouse. She's coming in to destroy stuff, but we still kind of want to hear what she has to say and her feelings on the division, and certainly as kind of now a new coming now new signee. I want to hear her opinions on this roster. I want to hear what she thinks. So even if it is her saying she's going to destroy her, we still just haven't heard much from her or seen much, like you said. Even in terms of matches, the matches she has have had been short or like tag matches. We haven't gotten to see her in much of a 20-minute match, likes the matches of Toni Storm and Mariah May over the past few months.
Now, granted, they are doing a job trying to elevate her quickly as she had a decisive victory over Thunder Rosa this past weekend on Collision. And she also has a victory over Chris Statlander. So, two of the top level AEW women talent, both former AEW Women's World Champions. So, I feel like they're getting her ready for this run with Toni Storm. And I have the belief that Toni can make this work. We saw her work with Mariah May, make that the best women's feud probably in the history of professional wrestling. If I could be so bold.
I agree.
So we'll just have to wait to see what comes of this feud and how Megan Bayne rises to the occasion with this opportunity that AEW has given her.
Yeah, and truthfully, like you said, I think Toni Storm is already helping in that. I thought her promo this week was great.
Oh, Toni Storm cut yet again another great promo. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch Collision. It was worth every minute of it. She is on freaking fire. So talking about Collision, Ashlee, let's catch everybody up on the results of Collision as they opened the show up with Ricochet versus Shibata in a damn good match. And damn, that freaking Ricochet had to cheat to get the win.
Of course he did. That's Shibata, dude. I'm man, Ricochet has been nothing but great since his arrival in AEW, and I love this character for him. Like I've said it before, and seeing him get this this win was a little upsetting, but not unexpected.
I had a sneaky feeling that he may be the person in that match to advance to the four-way to coming up on Dynamite this Wednesday night. But part of me, when Kenny Omega looked over to Shibata on Wednesday night Dynamite last week, I was going like, I kind of want this freaking match.
Yeah, honestly, we were kind of talking about it beforehand. Anybody on that bracket in general, I wanna see Kenny Omega versus, with his return, Kenny Omega versus Beast Mortos. You know, we already have the options of Speedball Mike Bailey and Orange Cassidy on a one-on-one. I'd love to see any of these. Katsuyori Shibata, top of the list, though.
So we go on to see Powerhouse Hobbs make quick work of who is that? Oh, wait a minute. That's Griff Garrison. We have a Griff Garrison sighting.
It feels like it's been, I don't know, I can't like, it feels like it's been forever. I know he appears on Ring of Honor, more frequently to people who watch Ring of Honor. Um, I will say, watching the past few weeks on Ring of Honor of this frat house, I don't know how I feel about this, team, but I mean, Griff Garrison is someone that has been around for a minute, so it's nice to kinda see him resurface here.
Yeah, it was nice to see Griff Garrison reappear. I enjoyed his time with his tag team partner, Brian Pillman Jr., when they were the varsity club. And honestly, I thought Griff might do something after that, after Brian Pillman Jr. left the company. And it seemed like he was the one that was forgotten, Griff Garrison, because Julia Hart broke out from that group. Brian Pillman Jr. is doing great in NXT right now. So poor Griff Garrison hasn't been anywhere. He's been on the side of a milk carton.
Yeah, like I said, kind of appearing sporadically on a Ring of Honor, not really involved in anything solid or anything, but this this group with him, Preston Vance, and, what's it, Cole Carter? That his name?
Yeah.
Um, and Jameson, the guy who was formerly with the Iron Savages. Um, they've been kind of, I'd say for like the past month maybe, started a faction called the Frat House. I don't know if I particularly like it all that much, but yeah, at least it gets them out there. It's nice to see like Preston Vance too, somebody who is ultimately forgotten by AEW, who is at least on TV out there too, supporting Griff Garrison.
So we move on to the second of the qualifiers on Collision for the four-way we'll see this Wednesday night to see who faces Kenny Omega at Dynasty for the Continental title. And I'm sorry, the international title. And Mark Davis defeats Mark Briscoe. So many marks in this match, too many marks in this match, with a little help from the Murder Machines, as we saw Brian Cage basically push Mark Briscoe off the top rope right into a kick, and Mark Davis snuck away, won this match. So, two fan favorites on this episode of Collision failed to advance in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of a new fan favorite though for people who might not have been familiar.
True, true. So, but they weren't done with the Murder Machine because the Murder Machine got to destroy some local talent right after this. And I gotta say, if we don't get the Hurt Syndicate versus the Murder Machines at AEW Dynasty for these tag team titles, we're doing something wrong here, Tony.
Yeah, no, and I especially kind of liked like seeing them find like some cohesiveness over the past few weeks. Kind of, I even like, as silly as it was, like combining the catchphrases, I thought was a really cool thing.
Yeah, that was cool. And the fact that now they're kind of combining their finisher into one move as well. And you're going like, these guys are getting more scary every week. You watch them and you're going like, they deserve a AEW World Tag Team title run. Unfortunately, I feel like they put them together right at the same time the Hurt Business was taking off. So it might be just a little bit for Lance Archer and Brian Cage to get this title run, but they deserve it.
Yeah, no, and like, yeah, like you were saying, like the kind of watching them find the cohesiveness and form this tag team. I like that because I don't mind, even though they're 2 big guys, I don't mind them kind of taking, like, a loss, even if it was, like, to a kinda sillier team like the Outrunners with some interference or stuff like that, because they weren't a tag team, like, they didn't have that experience working together, they didn't have that, familiarity with each other, so I kind of like them, like, occasionally taking a loss. I like that for any team who isn't a normal tag team, so it's nice to kinda see them work at it, kinda combine everything, become cohesive, and now, like you said, like now we're excited to see them kind of face off against Lashley and Benjamin.
And yeah, I feel like you could get a trios of matches here. I feel like you can get a trilogy here. And right now, you don't have to, even if the Murder Machines don't win these titles from the Hurt Syndicate, I feel like they would benefit from working with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley because I feel like they would help them get their tag team skills polished.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Especially working with people like Benjamin and Lashley in the ring.
So then we move on to Top Flight and Hologram versus the Infantry and Lee Moriarty. And we saw Leo Rush and Ashlee and Shawn have front row seats here to take in the action. So we had our guys with the bad jackets back again. Their
Those
fashion
jackets
sense,
were ridiculous.
their fashion sense is a little questionable, but I kind of am interested in how this team's going to work. And this 6-man tag match was great.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Glad to kind of see Andretti and Rush make it back. It felt like they've been out of here for the past few weeks. I'm so glad to see they're okay and they're back. Ridiculous choice of clothing, like I mentioned, spiked suit jackets and everything. And glad to be getting back into this Top Flight stuff because I feel like Top Flight's kind of one of these teams that it feels like they're at the cusp of what at least being in the hunt for the tag team championship, and then we kind of pull them back down into something like this, and now they've been with this for quite a few months.
Very true. So I got a feeling that if the trios titles weren't tied up with the Death Riders, they could easily put this on the Top Flight hologram tag team, and it would be a good choice for it. Or hey, you could give it to the Shane Taylor promotion and have the Infantry and Lee Moriarty be AEW Trios champions.
Yeah, honestly, Shane Taylor Promotions has been killing.
I know they've been killing it so much on Honor Club. Unfortunately, not a lot of people have Honor Club, so it's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody really see it?
Well, they've had a few AEW appearances lately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very true.
I like them using the trio of the Infantry and Lee Moriarty too.
Yeah, that's a good group right there. They all these they mesh well, very well, I gotta say. So we move on to Megan Bayne versus Thunder Rosa. Now, earlier in the night, Megan Bayne came in and attacked Thunder Rosa, injured her ribs. We weren't sure we were going to have this match. Thunder Rosa, being the babyface, comes out here hurt, takes the match, puts up a good effort, but in the end, Megan Bayne hits her finisher, and we have a victory for Megan Bayne over Thunder Rosa. Then we get Toni Storm to come out to face off against her next challenger. And right there, maybe very interested in this match coming up at Dynasty if it happens there.
Yeah, a good run in, which ended up with Toni Storm actually getting her ass beat because Megan Bayne turned that right around on her. Um, but it was nice to kind of see the rest of the women band together to chase off, the goddess Megan Bayne here because she is a force.
She is AEW's version of Thanos.
And it was very funny too to see Luther carry Toni Storm out and then Chris Statlander pick up Thunder Rosa very similarly and carry her out. I thought that was funny.
So we get to our main event of Collision. It's FTR versus the Undisputed Kingdom. It was a great match. We had Adam Cole and we had Dan Garcia on commentary as they're going to have their rematch for the TNT title next weekend on Collision.
Yeah, I feel like this match I it's still a good match. I feel like it was a little more miscommunications than in their first matchup, but I'm hoping we do turn FTR heel after all this. I feel like that we're leaning too heavy into it, and I want to see FTR go back to some heel tactics here.
Honestly, when I was watching this match, part of me felt like they're going to give the win to the Undisputed Kingdom because they're going to set up a match at AEW Dynasty between these two tag teams, and maybe that's where we would get FTR get the heel turn and get the third victory, so they would be 2-1 with the Kingdom. But nope, we saw Shatter Machine. We saw a clean win here by FTR after the questionable win the week before. Dan Garcia goes into the ring. Adam Cole goes in the ring, checks on each other teams. Garcia and Cole shake hands, and then the Undisputed Kingdom offers their hands to FTR. And again, shades of heel here. They turn away, don't take the handshake.
Yeah, 2 times in a row, I think we gotta kinda put this on FTR. We gotta move them heel, especially because they won. They won clean. Why not take the hand this time?
Exactly. I mean, like, wouldn't a proper babyface accept a handshake after a well earned victory?
Yeah, and Daniel Garcia looked, I feel like just as confused because he he was, questioning what was going on.
I have a sneaky feeling. I'm going to save it for our next segment, and I'll tell you what my sneaky feeling is. So let's move on here. So I'm introducing a new segment here to All Elite Radio. I call it the Quick Count. It's our instant thought on a question that I have come up with. So basically, you have 30 seconds, Ashley, to try to make your point. Well, you know what?
Mm.
We'll do 60 seconds for our first run. So you have a minute, and your first quick count question is: should FTR turn heel?
Yes. Yes, I kind of feel like the characters as far as babyface have kind of, met where they can go. We haven't seen heel FTR in a few years. I'd like to see them. I'm feeling like we're maybe on the cusp of a Bucks return as well. So I'm feeling like maybe with the Bucks returning, we do some sort of turn where FTR ends up going back to being heel. The Bucks can come in, do something to redeem themselves, and go back to being babyface. And then we can somehow get a Bucks FTR rematch. It's been a little bit, and I kind of miss it.
Okay, so I kind of agree with you. I feel like FTR on the babyface side has done about everything possible in this company. And like you, it's been a moment since they've been heels. And honestly, to me personally, FTR are always better being bad guys. They are just two guys who kick ass, take names, and they don't apologize about it. And I feel like they're better heels than faces. So
Yeah,
I can't
Dax
wait.
is very good at like the grumpy kinda, kinda douchebag. He showed it too, like, kind of being like, "Ah, no," and then walking away, and he still looked, like, mad even though they got the win, like, he looked upset and stuff, so I wanna see, like, angry heel FTR kinda being ruthless.
Well, funny you say that. So my second quick count question: should Adam Cole be your next TNT champion?
Oof. Alright. I feel like it's the direction we're going, and I don't mind seeing Adam Cole as a singles champion. I am upset with the reign we gave Daniel Garcia.
Okay, so I'm gonna say yes as well. And I get a sneaky feeling coming out on Collision this weekend. Daniel Garcia's buddies, FTR, are going to turn on Daniel Garcia, and that's going to be the way that Daniel Garcia loses the TNT title to Adam Cole. You can do this to save Daniel Garcia. He doesn't get a clean loss here to lose his title. And I agree with you, Ashley. His run as TNT champion is on the bottom tier of TNT title runs.
Yeah, and AEW sometimes really has a hard time following up with a fan favorite title win. We've seen a few times where the crowd really gets behind somebody, we push them all the way to the championship, a title they've been in the hunt for, and AEW puts the belt on them and then immediately doesn't know what to do with them, and that truly felt like what happened with Daniel Garcia here. We did get some solid singles matches and stuff, but a lot of his matches were tied up in tag matches and trios matches and the Continental Classic, which are, great singles matches, but not him defending his newly won TNT championship at the time. Um, Hoping that Daniel Garcia will kind of segue off into something if he drops the title to Adam Cole. Kind of can solidify himself back up in some good matches and either swing back around and maybe have another shot at the Continental Classic or maybe a second run with the TNT title soon.
My personal hope for Daniel Garcia is eventually we work his way up the card and he gets that AEW World title run, or at least a title match, because I feel like the dude deserves a AEW World title match. I feel like he's that talented.
Yeah, yeah, and especially like, listen, I know people are a little polarized on Mox in the way he fights right now, but if you put Daniel Garcia up against somebody like Mox, look at what that did for Wheeler Yuta.
And I know nobody loves Ryuta until, oh, hey, you put Daniel Garcia versus Ryuta, and you're like, yay!
Yeah, put DG in there with some big stakes, and you know he'll show out.
Funny you say John Moxley. So my next quick question for you:
Segue
Will
City tonight.
Will Cope defeat John Moxley this Wednesday on Dynamite?
No, I don't think so. um, very very curious call to have this match so quickly. I will say. Divided opinions from what I saw. I will say I think this match is what the previous match needed to be, being a no holds barred, like hardcore style match. This is what the first match needed to be. So I'm hoping that we will get the a chance to see these guys show out because like we said, the last match wasn't bad. It's just kind of capping off that 3 match streak with that match was kind of a letdown. And hopefully, with this, a little bit of a smaller spotlight and bigger stakes and, some stipulations here, hopefully, we'll get a far better match and a better reception this time around.
I got a sneaky feeling here that we're going to see a little Christian Cage action here on Wednesday night in this match, and I feel like they're going to spin Cope off to the eventual feud with Christian before Adam Copeland calls it a career.
Yeah, I'm truthfully surprised that they haven't. When he came back from injury, we knew they were going to feud. Um, they threw out the possibility of still tagging. I'm surprised they hadn't kind of segued. So I'm hoping, even if they don't go for titles, I'd still like to see one tag match.
And I think we all want to see them join forces versus the Young Bucks one time before both of them leave AEW.
Even if it's just that one match, like I would take it.
So my final quick question here, actually, no, ain't my final question. I'm halfway through. Okay, on to my next quick question. Who should win this four-way we're going to see on Wednesday night to face Kenny Omega for the international title?
Hmm. We got Orange Cassidy, Speedball, Mark David.
And
I don't know.
Ricochet.
I feel like they did a good job of. They're all people that make sense. Like obviously it's the storyline, but like Orange Cassidy, he has history with. We could see a good one-on-one match. Mike Bailey coming in to be the new top guy. Mark Davis with all the stuff with the Don Callis family, that could make a lot of sense. Um, hmm. I feel like the answer is Speedball, but then I feel like that's too quick. And we just talked about like even like Megan Bayne. Like, is it too quick to push her? I feel like it's too quick to push Speedball too to that point. Um, hmm. I think I'm gonna stick with him though.
Okay,
Mhm.
so that's a good choice, Ashley. But my choice is Ricochet. But for a simple reason, we just gave this title to Kenny Omega. This is Kenny Omega's first title defense. Let him have Ricochet. They're gonna have a great match, and Ricochet will lose again, and it'll just drive him even more insane.
Mm, I'm kind of hoping. Oh, Ricochet and Kenny Omega would be so good. I don't know if I want to have Ricochet take another huge loss right now. That's the only thing. I love this character. I don't want him to kind of lose steam with this character. especially because Swerve's got a title match coming up, and I don't know if he's not gonna not be involved in that, like, Cost and Swerve. Um, I don't know. I think have we seen this matchup before? I don't think that's ever happened, right? Ricochet versus Kenny, so
You know what? All the radio listeners,
somebody will know.
somebody will know. Let us know. Just hit us up on our Sky Blue account
And if you
or our
know where it is,
Instagram account.
link me.
Exactly. If you know if this match exists and it's on YouTube somewhere, just send us the link. So my next quick question for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how great was Speedball McVillie's debut on AEW Dynamite last week?
How good did he look? Oh my god. I gotta give him at least a 9 because he looked great. He looked super happy to be there. He looked, like, refreshed. He looked I mean, and going against somebody like Beast Mortos already, he's going to be a great base for somebody with a quicker, high flying style. And again, it looked great going against Mike Bailey. That kick that put the match away looked. I can't wait to see him bust that out in the 4-way. Like somebody's gonna eat that.
Yes, somebody's soul is going to leave their body on Wednesday night. We just don't know which of the other three people it's going to be. Me personally, you took my answer. I was going to say 9. And the only reason this wasn't a 10 was because I felt bad for Beast Marcos taking another L, as he's the person they always tag to get these debuts. And he does good work. He's a great base, like you said. I just wish we'd do some with Beast Mortos.
Yeah, he's getting so over. Like you said, seeing him take loss after loss, especially a few months ago, we reformed LFI and stuff like that. Was hoping to see them do a bit more, but the Roosh kind of being in and out has really affected what they, I think, were doing. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
Okay, so my last quick question of this week. Should MJF accept the help of MVP? Because on Dynamite last week, we heard the history of MVP and MJF. And who knew that MJF drove MVP around a long time ago and sucked up the knowledge that was MVP? And I was going like, wait, like I was like, he's being good to MVP. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, it was so weird to see MJF be respectful of somebody for a change. Um, this is such a weird this would be so weird. Like, I wanna say yes, just because I want to see this strange faction of MJF, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley. Like, what is that?
Yeah, because here's the question for you. Can they coexist?
That would be, like, legitimately one of the most can they coexist of all time.
I just want to see Shelton Benjamin's reaction when he sees that MVP and MJF are walking side by side. And wait, he's part of the group. Did we ever get a chance to vote on this?
I would love to see their reaction. I feel like MJF is in such a weird spot too, because he took that loss to Hangman and he was showing how vulnerable he was, and that's what MVP was calling out on him. So I could see maybe MVP kind of getting to him a little bit and causing MJF to maybe doubt himself a little bit enough to be like, you know what, you were right. I should come, hang out with you for a bit. And truthfully, give me some MJF and some MVP doing some stuff on the microphone, with MJF's in-ring ability. Plus, we've seen MVP in the ring too already, so wouldn't mind seeing that again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing MJF versus MVP sometime down the road.
Yeah.
I just think this should happen. I feel like we need to see how this would play out because I think it would be the most intriguing storyline that AEW can do right now going forward into the summer. And
It would
I
genuinely be the weirdest thing to do, and that's why I want it to be done, because I wanna see how MJF would fit in if he had to, like, say, team up with somebody like Bobby Lashley or, Shelton Benjamin, just to see how, like, their interactions would be. Because MJF is so arrogant that I don't know how Benjamin and Lashley would take to it.
I just wonder how long that would last, and, like, I feel like Bobby would be the first one to snap, and
That
it'd
would
be
be
some
bad
it
news for MJF.
it would be some six-man tag match, and Bobby would be like looking at him and be like, "Yeah, I had enough. One Dominator. See ya. Have a great day." But, yeah, I can't wait to see what comes from this. And the thing is, I don't know what the end game is for this, and that's what makes me intrigued about this thing.
Yeah, and I mean, even that little interaction was, like, very cool, like, they already, like they said, they've known each other for years, so it did really feel like they were kinda catching up for a minute, and it was some good rapport, so I'm very interested to see where they go and to see if MVP keeps pursuing MJF.
Well, hopefully, they will have something come out on this week's episode of Dynamite on Wednesday night. We are gonna wrap up our show by previewing the upcoming episode, and we are kinda hinting at our feelings about this world title match, Ashley, and I don't think the last 10 minutes has changed my mind. Unfortunately for Cope, I'm gonna say John Moxley is gonna carry the day here as we head on to AEW Dynasty, and hopefully Source Wrestling can take the title from him.
Yeah, I same. I agree. Moxley's gonna hang on to that title, and quite frankly, I think that's gonna be his title for a long time, as much as some fans may not wanna hear it.
Paging Darby Allen, can you come back from the mountain, please?
Right. You're gonna have to see if there's, like, a Darby tracker.
Okay, so we also are going to get Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander. I feel like this is another building Megan Bayne up to face Toni Storm, so I feel Chris Statlander is going to take an L here. I kind of hate the fact that she's taking another L, but it does help Megan Bayne on this quest to be a worthy title contender for Toni Storm.
I won't mind the L so much if we do something that feels like a good progression for Megan Bayne. I don't know what that would be off the top of my head, but if we can do something to kinda maybe more help people feel more satisfied with her being the choice to face Tony Storm right now, I think I'll be okay with Chris Statlander taking an L, because Chris Statlander is super popular, and I think being on the cusp, it seems, of reuniting her and Willow, I think that maybe they're kind of banking on recapturing some of that popularity too.
See, I was thinking we could possibly have Chris Statlander versus Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Title. When we were thinking last week, who could be possible opponents for Toni Storm leaving the Brian May feud? Chris Statlander, right there, Chris Statlander. She's not doing that much. Can we not have her first? I don't know.
True. I mean, I feel like her being in the orbit is a good sign, and hopefully that means maybe after Megan Bayne, she could be next in line.
I do feel like this Mega Bang versus Tony Storm feud is gonna leave with Tony Storm still having that title because I don't feel like they're gonna pull it off of Thomas Tony Storm anytime soon.
No, and honestly, I hope not.
Pull it off of John Moxley before you even dare think about pulling off Tony Storm.
Absolutely. It's like the only way. Like, I want to put more titles on Tony Storm. She deserves them all.
Well, the last match we can preview coming up here, we kind of did it for the show already. It's the four-way to face Kenny Omega for the international title at AEW Dynasty. We got Orange Cassidy, Ricochet, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Mark Davis. I have chosen Ricochet for this victory. You're going with Speedball Mike Bailey. Both of them will be great matches. Have you changed your mind in the last 10 minutes? Are you still going to stick with Speedball, or did I convince you about my Ricochet Fury?
No, I'll keep it so we have some different answers.
Well, we will see this Wednesday on which one of us is right, or we could totally be off base.
Or I was gonna say, or it could just be it could be Orange Cassidy or Mark Davis, and we could 50-50 and be wrong.
Well, actually, where can we find you on the super information superhighway?
On Blue Sky at grooviash.bsky.social. I'm always on with the shows, Skeeting Out Live.
Exactly. She is one of the best live follows on the social internets. It's a must follow. You can follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at All Elite Radio. And until we see you next Monday night, have a stunning week and make sure you fill out your brackets if you like NCAA basketball. March Madness, buddy. March Madness.
Oh, no.